A few years ago when I pastored, I had a couple of young men that were very enterprising in the church. And they had found on one Saturday night a man laying in the ditch. So they pick him up and take him to their dad and see if they could do anything. And his dad said, "Look, don't bring that man in my house." So guess what? They brought him to my house. Well, come to find out, his name was Shelby. Shelby was a wino. He was about 6'4", and maybe he weighed 130 pounds, skinny as a rail. He smelled so bad. He smoked Pall Mall cigarettes, one after the other. So I took Shelby inside. He couldn't hardly walk. I took his clothes off and threw him in the tub and scrubbed him down real good because he couldn't do it himself. So I got him up. We'd washed his clothes, got his clothes back on him, and had Shelby sitting there. And says, "All right, Shelby, you're going to spend the night here." Little did I know, just Shelby was going to spend months at my house. Well, my wife, Tommy Sue, would not let Shelby smoke in the house, so he had to go outside. Now, he was going to smoke, but he smoked those Pall Malls. Golly, just the smell of them will stop your lungs up. So, for some reason, he quit smoking. So, about 3 weeks into all of this, Shelby's doing better. I done prayed for him, asked him to ask Jesus into his heart, and he did. And Shelby got born again. Well, Shelby changed. I mean, like overnight, it was absolutely amazing. So we were in a church service, and I said, "Anybody got a testimony?" Shelby raised his hand. He said, "I do." I said, "What you got, Shelby?" So it looked like it took about 30 seconds or more for him to totally stand up. He said, "Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you may die." We all cracked up. It was scriptural. It was great. But that was the kind of life. That was his motto. That's what he lived. So after about a month, Shelby really lined out and he got his strength back. And he said, "Look, how would you like to get your house painted?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, look, if you'll go get me a big brush, paintbrush, and some paint, whatever color you want to paint it, and I'll paint your house." So he told us what kind of paint. So we went and got it. He painted the inside and outside. I said, "Shelby, you want a little trim brush?" He said, "No, I don't need one." Boy, he could take that big old paintbrush and put it up there on top of where the molding was and go perfect straight line. I mean, the man was incredible. He didn't shake one bit. I was amazed. So he painted my house, and some people started coming in that went to church, and they said, "Who painted your house?" And I said, "Shelby did." I said, "Well, I want him to come paint mine." It was such a good job. So next thing you know, Shelby is painting a lot of houses. He get a lot of business, still living at our house. And then one Saturday, Shelby come in. I don't know, he'd been painting somewhere, and he'd been making pretty good little bit of money. But it was very energetic for his age and having been a wino and having shaken when he came in. And all of a sudden, he had some money. He went and bought him a car. I could not believe it. He come up in that car, and it was really nice. So Shelby stayed around a few more months, and he says, "All right, I gotta go." And he wound up going, I don't know, somewhere, and sold his car, and he went back to hopping trains again like he did in the beginning, traveling all over the country. Anyway, that was the last we had heard of Shelby until later we had heard that he had hopped a train somewhere and ultimately had died, maybe at the hands of some people that tried to kill him and rob him because they knew he had some money. But the point is, there was this wino that had been totally wasted in a ditch, and all of a sudden his whole life is transformed. I look back on that lovingly and kindly because we were instrumental in helping one man get on his way in life. It was really sweet. God bless you guys, and go in peace. Make a difference in somebody's life, okay? Bye.